nobody signs up for Meta with their business account. They sign up with their personal. They have their home phone, not their business line that's on that. So as we're looking at how do you get in front of the right people, I want a list of everybody that works at a dentist office in Dallas. And that's what we're able to start to pull. So now we're getting their personal data so that I can put my ad in front of the right person that has already shown interest.
Welcome back to the High Ticket AI Systems Podcast. Everyone, please welcome the one and only Mr. Casey Hamilton. Casey, welcome to the show, my friend. How you doing today?
Doing well, Jordan. Really appreciate you having me on, man. This is fun. So.
Absolutely. It's our pleasure. Now, to give the audience some context as to who you are, what the company does, please enlighten us as to what ExactMatch.io does.
Absolutely. So I have been involved in the digital marketing world for 16 years. I've had an agency for a long time. Got here pretty unconventionally. I was actually a pastor before this, had no intentions of ever being in it. But now, after almost 2 decades of serving people and helping, went from a product of my agency that started Exact Match Marketing. And then we have over 500 agencies that have actually utilized that and resold it to their clients. And then recently just released ExactMatch.io, and it is totally we look at it as one of the best things you can do if you are looking at B2C and even B2B information. We're able to use AI to be able to go through our database. We have pretty much over 80,000 behavioral points of data that refresh daily and help you to be able to find the right audience it's with all their behavioral traits. So pretty fun. Been exciting to see this thing grow.
I cannot tell you how vitally important intent data is in the B2B world. But before we dive into the nitty gritty, what was the transition like? You wore the agency hat for, I assume, at least a few years, and then you transitioned into selling data. Why did you make that pivot? I'm sure you're happy you did, but what was life like, and why did you make that transition essentially?
I would love to say my agency world is over, but I still own it. I spend probably 5% of my time in it these days. Definitely more into the data side, and I travel the world to get a chance to speak. But definitely a transition. I went from hand holding uh, the different companies I was working with to the agencies that we were working with, and now diving back in and getting into this side because I was sick and tired of having ads not do what they should do. And Facebook started to get more restrictive, and Google started to get, more and more restrictive. And we had won awards for Google ads and we've done all these things in my agency. But man, everything changes. And to stay ahead of the curve, to try to have that competitive edge as an agency was really, really important. And so to be able to come up with something now that can change the way that we do those ads and to see a much more effective result has been really cool.
No, absolutely. And I do want to say this, Casey, I feel like we met before at one of the conferences that you spoke at. I think it was GHL Summits out there in Vegas.
Dallas?
Yeah.
Vegas. Yeah, that very well could be. I spoke at one here just in April. We were there the year before for that as well with Dakota and
Yes.
some of those guys. So
Yeah.
Um,
Super cool stuff.
yeah, he'll actually be in Italy with me next week. I'm speaking at a conference over in Italy here. Leave on Thursday. So
is it GHL or?
it is like a Founders Freedom. Caitlin Portillo and a lot of those folks. She's running that conference, but I'm coming in to speak, and GHL will be one of the main sponsors for it.
Well, Italy sounds like fun, man.
No doubt, my first time. So.
Oh yeah. Getting back to the data. Why do you what essentially I don't know if you're allowed to answer this, but how do you have 80,000 behavioral points or things that you can essentially nitpick from? How does that process work? Were you the mastermind behind engineering the software, or were you the mastermind behind the idea and then put experts in place to execute?
Yeah, so I mean, it's been a 6-year journey in data, right? We started out how we even got on the map, and I'm going to go backwards, and then we'll come back up to where we are, and then where we're heading forward, right? We started with a keyword search, and that's what put Exact Match Marketing on the map. Is that we were able to go down to one zip code to the whole city, the state, country, whatever, and we could find anybody searching for any keyword, and then be able to deliver that in real time. And that was good, but we didn't have a lot of controls over it. And so we had a database that it would work with, but we realized, man, we want to know who these people are a little bit more in detail before we get to them. So how do we get to 80,000? We worked with a ton of different groups that are out there that we're able to secure their data resources with the connections of who these people were. And so we're going to be able to give you like itemized credit card opportunities down to just what are they searching for? Where are they going? What do they do? What are they reading about? What's happening across all these different sources that let us know. And 80,000 is really somewhat of the beginning point. About 3 weeks ago, we we're at 47,000. We're now over 80,000 by the end of this year. We hope to have about 250,000 points of data that are coming through. But we're partnering with a ton of different groups that are allowing us to be able to resource that data and then once again refresh that data continually so that we know what's going on and we can deliver that into your hands in a way that can be downloaded and put directly into custom audiences for Google and Meta and Simplify and things like that.
Yeah, that's what I've heard with using intent data on the B2C side is you can essentially upload a custom list. Let's just imagine that it's a weight loss, right? They're looking up like GLP-1 or, best foods for weight loss, whatever the hell the case is, right, guys? And you take, this master really high intent list, you plug it into Meta, and now your CPC, cost per conversion or whatever, goes down, I don't know, 10, 20, 30, even 50% because who you're targeting is already in market for whatever it is that you're selling. Like that to me is the masterpiece behind it all. Right. So
Yeah.
would you say your demographic, like who you sell this to, is not the end consumer, but more so agencies, or I guess how does that process work?
So it used to be that way. And still can be to an extent. We have a lot of agencies that have been with us in the previous group that are starting to transition into this, and some are doing both because there's different things that they would want. So agencies is still a big part, but we now used to be hidden only behind agencies with a white labeled product. Now we go direct to consumer as well. But with our APIs and the MCP access that we have right now, a lot of people are building their own platforms using Claude Code, pointing it at our API documentation, creating their own version of what we do, and then selling it out there, or just using the MCP in general, so they don't have to log into our system to be able to find that data. But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting road as we've made that transition. So it's not just that agency; it's going right down even to the consumer now.
That's super badass, man. Hats off to you. For the audience listening, and maybe they're looking for some more strategies or like, how else can I use intent data? Across your entire customer base, what have you seen to be like the best 1-2 punch, or at least the best two systems that these guys have in place that are utilizing your intent data?
Yeah, so I still think the best thing and where we're seeing people making the most money right now is Meta. They're able to take that data, upload it directly into Meta, and be able to get the results that they're looking for. But some of the other paths that we've seen that have been effective are going to be mailing. A lot of people are still doing snail mail, and I know that seems a little
Really?
crazy, but they know they're in market, and we have their address, right? We've got but we also have their maids. So we have people that are utilizing it and running it into display ads and CTV, those kinds of things. So there's multiple different directions that you go. And I don't look at display ads as the end all be all, right? But I look at it as a great follow up tool when you know somebody's interested because it's bringing them back in. It's like putting a mini billboard in the place that their face only seems to be staring these days. So
Talk to me about B2B for the B2B audience. Would you say can it still be utilized the same? And it's okay. Like my mindset goes like because B2C is like TAM is huge, right? Hundreds of millions, and B2B can be significantly smaller than that.
mhm.
Would you still say that it works for B2B?
It does, but it works differently.
Okay.
There's a ton of different things. You can use Claude anymore and say, I want every dentist office in Dallas, right? And you can get a list of all of those. But what our system is trying to do to change that and maybe flip it on its head a little bit is going, okay, how about we give you the personal data of the person that works for that company? Because nobody signs up for Meta with their business account. They sign up with their personal. Nobody, they have their home phone, not their business line that's on that. So as we're looking at how do you get in front of the right people, I want a list of everybody that works at a dentist office in Dallas. And that's what we're able to start to pull. So now we're getting their personal data so that I can put my ad in front of the right person that has already shown interest. And that's sort of how it changes. So if you're looking for a big list of companies, we're probably not the right fit, though that's getting more and more robust. Just not there right now. We're probably Q4, maybe beginning of Q1. We'll have a much more complete product that way. But we're working on some tools that actually will. Hey, you can pull up everybody that works for this company in LinkedIn, and we'll grab all their data and deliver that out as well. So those are some things that are coming in the future. We're trying to be B2C sort of first, but with a B2B flair that mixes both the personal and the business data together so that you can run the right types of campaigns out instead of just to try to call them and see if you can get a hold of the right person at Johnson & Johnson. Let's put together the right algorithm so that you can put their ad in front of the right people that might be making that decision.
On that note, I spoke with a guy some few weeks ago, and he works with I guess high end B2B clients where they sell four things per year, and that's a fantastic year for him. And
Yeah.
when you think about that, like long term, high ticket B2B sales, you typically think cold email, LinkedIn, account based marketing, where you hit them from all angles, but all organic.
Yeah.
His approach was actually using a list of leads, intent data, and then uploading that list into Meta and just running Facebook and Instagram ads to only a select few, like
Yep.
1,000 or 2,000 people.
Yep.
And because he was doing this, the CPMs were significantly cheaper because he's only targeting that list. And
Yeah.
the conversion rate was significantly higher because that list is already in freaking market, right? So if you're
Yeah.
listening, even if you are in B2B and you're thinking, oh, this might not work, no, think again. It absolutely does work for you. You just have to think differently about your approach. With that being said, without going into specifics, how is this modeled out from a pricing standpoint? Like, not specifics if you don't want to, but like,
No.
uh, okay,
So we just changed. Just so you know, we're starting in. We were going to do it just a couple pennies a piece, which was really really awesome. Like it was a great model in some ways, but what we found was it was just confusing. So we switched it up, and now you get unlimited data through our system that you can pull. And guys, I know that there's other people out there that are sort of trying to compete in that model with this. I think the biggest thing with us is we're every 24 hours it updates. It's not just a list build. This truly builds an ICP. You can actually upload previous customers, and it'll find everybody that matches and looks like your previous customers, pretty much creating your own lookalike audience, and with a ideal customer profile in place. You can get enrichment of the data of your current customer list. So you can actually find all the things about them, their intent, the content they're consuming, all that. But we're doing it right now. It's $1,000 a month, unlimited data that you can pull. So you can pull literally millions of people in for $1,000 a month. And if that's not good enough, $7,000 annual, and you get unlimited data for the year.
that is actually a steal. That is actually really, really competitive, if not the best prices in the market.
Yeah.
Like you said, I'm sure you know your competitors, right? Damn, what the frick is the name of the company? I get served ads by them at least 17 times a day. I know you know who I'm talking about, dude. I think they charge like 3 or 4K, so 3 or 4x higher than yours. And I imagine, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, it's very similar data, and if yours might actually be better in
Uh,
certain.
Ours is going to be fresher than pretty much anybody else that we know right now. So a lot of them you're seeing that could be a few days old or a few weeks or months old. But with the data set that we have and the way that we're able to execute on that data and the AI interface, instead of like drop down lists, which you get in a lot of these different places, that full AI interface, you can put it right into your own Claude. You can start typing in and say, hey, what's the best way to find an audience that's looking for an F 150? And it'll be like, okay, here's the people that have been looking for F 150s. Here's the people that own F 150s already that might be in market to buy another one. Here's like, and it'll start to build it all out for you. And you say, okay, can we just narrow that right down into just the Kansas City area? And it's like, yeah, here's all the people that meet that. And it'll give you options inside of it. So it's just, there's so many different things that we're offering right now inside of this that really make this an easy point of entry. And we're working right now for two different things. You can cleanse all the emails that are inside of it. And then we also, even right now, we're about 60% of our phone numbers that we're pulling in are actually pretty darn accurate. as well. And then we are putting in a place where it'll actually do a verified cell phone number. So finalizing everything on that. So a couple little upsells that might be in there because not everybody's going to want to do that. We didn't want to charge everybody for something that a handful of people may use, but we're working on those as well to give you pretty much the best data in the market.
I like how you have it. It sounds to me like Apollo for the B2B space, where all of the add-ons are already inside the software. Like for me, what I have to do is we call it like our internal waterfall drip, where we find data, we enrich the data, like get their emails, their names, whatever. We verify the emails. Okay, cool. We can actually send an email to this person. Now let's, I don't know, get more data on them from Claude, from what scraping their website, whatever the case is, and then use another external tool to validate the freaking email, to validate or the phone number, et cetera, et cetera. If I'm hearing you correctly, it sounds like all of this is already internal in the platform, so you don't have to bounce around from tool to tool to tool. Because that, to me, is a pain in the ass.
Yeah. And I think that that is the key is that we know that a lot of people are just going to run them to meta ads. So actually, I don't want the deliverable email address that they haven't used in 16 years, but it's still attached to their meta account, right? I want the non-deliverable address that they signed up with so I can match them inside of it. But if you're going to run an email campaign, click on the cleanse button and it will cleanse those emails and only give you deliverable email addresses. But if we do that, it usually gets rid of 25 to 28% of the audience. And those are legit possibilities as customers that we didn't want to get rid of just because a few people wanted to do email campaigns where the rest of them know that, hey, my money's in Meta. And so we're working it that way. And then same with phone numbers. We only wanted to put it out there to where you may pay the extra to get the phone number cleaned. And we're finalizing that. That'll probably be out here within the next few weeks. We'll have a full cleansing with a validated phone number where they've actually received a text, put in that 4-digit code, came back, and we verified it is that person coming from that type of a phone number. So super powerful. Obviously, can't use that for B2C when it comes to automated phone calls, but you can use and text messaging, but you can use it if you're doing the smile and dial route. So
Understood. Casey, I do kind of want to pivot if you don't mind. I
yeah,
know off camera here, you were talking about, I think the primary source of acquiring new customers for any other software company listening right now is webinars. I think those are super, super sexy. If you can crack a webinar funnel, man, you can make buco bucks in a single day, as I'm sure you've witnessed firsthand.
yeah.
Do you mind giving us some insights as to like how you go about marketing the webinar, how long your webinar is, I guess how many iterations you've had to perfect the webinar, if you don't mind, of course.
Yeah. So I'm actually redoing everything inside of this now because we just changed our pricing model, right? So iterations are important. We usually do about a 45-minute to an hour presentation that's going to be on there. It can be a little bit shorter. I actually would like it to be a little bit shorter, but usually the longer that they're there, the more interested that they get. And I know that they're in it.
For
But
sure.
we've tried to make our offer in such a way that it's easy. Like to make that decision now is to say, hey, let's get you in. We have a full affiliate program too that allows people to get in. If you become one of our affiliates, people get a 50% off right out the gate on their first month, and and we actually give 25% as a referral as people come in. So like you're talking about $1,000 a month. That's a pretty hefty return on that investment of just telling somebody something great that could really help them their business or their agency.
No, 100%. I mean, if you get four of those, it pays for itself, you know?
Exactly. I know that's been our goal is like, hey, just tell 4 people and you never pay for your data. You have unlimited data for nothing.
No, seriously. That's super, super sick. I think I learned this from Alex, but if you want to incentivize like the lead getters or like referral partners or just partners in general, like actually incentivize them. Like the whole 5%, 10% thing, like no one's getting out of bed for 10%. You know what I mean? But for 25% of $1,000 ticket item, like that's actually incentivizing. So essentially 25%, 250 per sign up is an amazing referral incentive. Hats off for you for incentivizing people like that.
And it's beyond that though, guys. It's 250 a month for life. So you get one that does that $1,000 and they stay for the year. You're making $3,000 for the year, and if they sign up for the annual, it's like 1,700 and some dollars that you get on the first day that they sign up. So I'm not good at math, but that math's pretty good.
Yeah, absolutely. and you're doing a pretty good pay and PIF discount, right? Pay in full discount. It's damn near half off, right? It's like what? How much is that off? Like 60%? I'm not good at math, but it's almost half. All right, it's
Yeah, it's
almost
almost half. Yeah, I like that one.
for sure. Um, when it comes to speaking in person in front of live audiences, like either the GHL show or the GHL summit or the conference out there in Italy, would you say it is a duplicate of the webinar? And which one do well, I guess one question at a time. Is it a duplicate of the webinar with like a few different nuances here and there? Or like, I guess, how does that process work?
It's a little bit different. I mean, we're going to cover a lot of the same materials, obviously, inside of that. I'm speaking actually twice at the one in Italy. So I just got informed of that actually. So I'm coming up with a whole other one. But yeah, it's going to be a little bit of the same as we're getting in. I'm preparing that new one and preparing what it'll be for a live audience. That pastor background actually helps me, by the way, because I learn how to speak in front of people well. That's a big deal. So I probably do better in person than I do even on a webinar because I love the engagement that I get just with people.
Yeah, I was going to ask which one do you prefer more, but as speakers, at least, I mean, not from my experience, not yet, but interviewing people and sitting down with public speakers, they really feed off the audience. You know, if the audience is in a great mood, if they're all engaging and having a good time with you, that energy bounces onto the speaker. The speaker can articulate themselves better. They can have more energy. The message resonates better. It's so interesting. I mean, not to get into like energy or anything like that, but I just think speaking on stage, in my opinion, plus like there's a human connection there as well. We go a lot further with an online webinar. Question: how many times, at least, like, what is the goal for speaking engagements that you like to hit year over year?
You know what? I'm sort of newer to that side of things when it comes to this, but I'm getting more. I did the one in Vegas. We got the one here coming up in Italy. Possibilities for a couple other in Africa as well, and like just I don't know. It's opening up new doors, which I really enjoy because I love that aspect of being face to face with folks. But I would love to see at least 5 or 6, maybe next year. In this, I have 3 this year and want to double that as time moves on, and then who knows? Maybe I'll be up in front of the GHL crowd at the summit one of these days. So instead of just at the booth.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see, my friend. What is, I guess, the biggest goal that you guys are trying to tackle here in 2026 or possibly, 2027 as well?
Yeah, it's this thing's just kicking off, right? So we're just pushing at it right now. But we were in Dubai at a conference in February this year, and we got to talking to everybody. Everybody was using Apollo. They were out there doing this, and every single one of them goes, "Man, the data is awful," and they knew it. But they were still buying it, and I'm talking to these people, and they're spending 8, 10, 20, $50,000 a year in data, and we went, well, what if we could make it better? What if we could come and just eat their lunch and give a better experience with better data at a less expensive price so that they can come in and win. And that's been our goal from the very get is we want to go out. We still got some things to figure out. We started with the agency side because we have a background in that, but now it's turning this thing around. And can we get this to the place where it needs to be to get the first party business that we want to go after and get them engaged as well. So I think there's more unknowns than I think knowns, but we know that our goal right now is to become pretty much a name that everybody knows. When you hear Apollo, you sort of know it. If you're in the marketing world, we want to be exact match. We want to put that as the next one that everybody sort of knows and they go, that's the no brainer. You guys want to use them.
For sure. No, great goal. I love ambitious goals. Have you thought about like what would have to change in order to be the household name like Apollo?
Yeah, it's probably going to be so before when we did exact match marketing, we were behind the scenes and we didn't really push ourselves out there. We tried to stay behind the curtain so that other people could shine. And so now we want to still empower people to do that, but we want to be out there, and so that's going to take a ton more advertising. I built the entire bit of exact match marketing sort of on my own, all through referral. Everything was a referral from another agency, and I had 6 or 7 appointments a day on my calendar from that specifically. So we were doing well. We had a lot of people that they enjoyed the product and they referred people to us. Now we switched that up and we're sort of taking our own medicine, and we're creating our own list, and we're putting our ads out in front of people, and we're getting signups. We had multiple today that people coming in. So I think that's probably the biggest thing now, is just changing the mode of how we've done our advertising in the past to what we're going to do now. And then we want to be able to show our own numbers so that people can trust us that way.
No, for sure. Do you still have that white label partnership in place if or just that you want to be the forefront now? Um,
We still, so exact match marketing is still available. We still have hundreds of agencies that utilize that. So and we still have people that sign up for it almost every week. So it's still available, it's still out there. Exactmatchmarketing.com gives you all of that information. Exactmatch.io is the place that you can sign up to even become a referrer, to get into the system that way. So you can do either way.
Casey, if you don't mind me asking, because your background, you came from, being a pastor, and I think that's super cool, man. What, I guess, changed to where you're like, I kind of want to take this dive into entrepreneurship, or at least, I don't know, change the direction of life. If you don't mind sharing, like, I guess, what happened? I'm super glad that you did, because you're obviously helping so many people in the world, and not saying that you weren't previously, but just in a different way now. Yeah, if you don't mind, like, what happened?
Absolutely. I think that was one of the hardest things that I ever had to do. Um, because a lot of it was I had my identity wrapped up in being a pastor. And so when that went away, I had to define who I was. And so as a believer, my identity should have been in Christ, but it was in a title. And so as I started to go into ministry of now marketplace ministry instead of just a church ministry, and that's sort of how I look at it. Even my agency is called Uncommon Reach. I believe God's given me an uncommon way to reach people with the gospel through my business. And so that's what I try to do every day. I don't think my mission has changed. The place that my mission is being carried out has changed. But there was a guy by the name of Tim Kite. He worked with Urban Meyer, who was the coach for Ohio State and Florida. But I'm from Ohio, so he was working with Ohio State the year that they won the championship in 2014. And I happened to meet him, and he came in, and I said, and I had a conversation with God, like, seriously, God, I'm going to sell Google AdWords the rest of my life. Like, this is what it's boiled down to. I'm going to do data the rest. Like, it didn't make sense. And finally, Tim just got a hold of me. He said, Casey, he's like, God's given you a way to be able to make money. Not everybody can do that. He's given you a way to be able to speak into people's lives and help people. It's just going to change where. And so as I've had that opportunity now, I've been able to share my faith along the way with a ton of people. I've invited them into, I run a men's ministry called Train to Reign, REIGN. And so we do camps in Southern Ohio. I have a $2 million lodge. If you're interested in doing that, reach out to me. Happy to talk to folks about that. But really, my heart is still in ministry. But now that I'm in this, I have an opportunity to speak in Italy and to speak in Vegas and speak in all these different places and still have an impact into people's lives. And I try to take it so much beyond the business, because I find a lot of people have lost their way in this world. They are very just empty, and they're looking for significance in a lot of things, and a lot of them are coming up short and not finding it. And so to be able to maybe just speak some life into people and see their lives change, and I've seen that happen so many times, that's probably one of the biggest blessings that I have.
Not to get too personal with you, but what would you say to that person who is, feeling a little empty, feeling a little worthless, feeling like life is not, meaningful?
um, First of all, this story's bigger than you. And a lot of times we've made the story about ourselves, and when things don't go great, then all of a sudden our world collapses because our world is just us. So when you can expand that world a little bit, and realize that there's a bigger story that you're a part of, an epic story that you're a part of, and that God has made you to do something, to be something in life, and He wants to work in you. He wants to take you to that next level, and He wants to see you grow in the way that He's created you to be. We are in the Imago Dei. We're made in the image of God, and as that, we are His children, and so therefore He's created us to have purpose on this life. And so, one of the things I try to do is help show people what that purpose might look like. How do you achieve those things in your life? And what does it truly mean to be that person? And then we walk them through that faith journey of that fatherlessness that some experience, and all those different pieces of how God comes in and He enters into that relationship with you and helps you walk through it, so that when you're going through the hard times, to know that He's still there, that He walks through it with you. He doesn't take away. He says, we walk through the valley of the shadow of death and we can fear no evil. He doesn't say that He's taking away the shadow of death. He just says that He's going to walk through it with you. And so I think that's the biggest thing, is knowing no matter how hard life is, and I could share a ton of stories how I went through some major things in my life. But I know that my God has been with me every step of the way. And that if you're looking for that, man, He says, if you will knock, He'll answer. If you seek, you'll find. So knock, seek, ask Him. He will come and He will walk into that relationship with you.
Great message. One thing that always gets me pretty emotional is and I learned this, um, do something, do somewhere. They said, whenever you kinda get your act together, you are going to change and affect people's lives that you haven't even met yet. So for you to put all like this self-misery upon yourself and like, woe is me, it's like not get over yourself, but it's not just about you. There's 8 billion people on this planet, and you can be one of those people to change someone else's lives. Like life is okay. Like you're here for a reason. And it kind of takes a long path, at least for me. It took a minute for me to realize that and get there, but I'm so thankful that we're here now. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah. And you see so many people, especially in this age of social media, they're posers, right? They are, man. They have created an image of something that they aren't really in real life. And honestly, they want people to think of them in a certain way. Transparency and reality has sort of gone out the window for a lot of folks. And so when you just learn to be real and you can be who you're supposed to be, and let that be the message. And then if you can have joy in the midst of it, like that's really the key. People are attracted to somebody who, man, they've gone through the hard stuff, but they still got a smile on their face, and they still bring an energy into the room that you're just not used to. And so when somebody can do that, man, that's really a drawing factor that comes into it. Not this fake, just a mess of what a lot of people are today, but truly just being real.
Authenticity nowadays is vitally more important now than ever before, especially in the age of AI or sure, Instagram and social media where everyone is a poser and you only see the highlight reels opposed to like the freaking long nights in your room or whatever. And like then you start making these comparisons like, oh, but this, oh, but that. But that's not real. What's actually real are the late night studies or like, you breaking up and having a hardship that way, or like you going off on the deep end this one way, you know? And I think we as humans should talk more about that, but just be more authentic. And I think whenever we do become more authentic, more people actually like our methodology, like our thinking, and we like attract more people to us because we are being real.
Yeah, I think people see right through the fakeness. Like when somebody's just putting on a show and they talk all this game and they've got, but then you meet them, and I think that's the reality. Every single person that I meet is going through something hard, even if it looks like they have it all together. And most of them don't have their poop in a group. It just sort of looks like they do from afar. And so, how do we get around that? How do we bring authenticity to the table and be real? I mean, I think that's really the key here is, can we do that? Because then we can have an impact. No matter where you go, you can bring light and life into a situation and speak that life into people, when you're living in authenticity.
Casey, thank you so much for the messages, my man. Looking over your career, personal life, business life, what do you feel like has been the single best piece of advice that you have received and that you would love to kind of share with the audience here?
Hmm. Well, that's a good question.
You can take your time. It's kind of a deep one.
Yeah. be careful what you seek for and seek after. Um, because a lot of times we think that we're fulfilling some need, and we seek after fame, and we seek after riches, we seek after all of those different things. Um, my my life verse is, seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all these things will be added unto you. And so I've often in my life went chasing after the things. I wanted wealth, and I wanted a big business, and I wanted, the right family, and I wanted all these things, but I didn't pay attention to who I was sometimes, and I would lose myself in the situation and become something that I shouldn't. And then God would get a hold of me, and I would come back to who I should be. But when I learned to put him first and seek him, then those are the things that turned my life back to facing towards him and walking towards him, so that all the other things that I really wanted, he was my provider, he was my supplier, he was the one that would walk before me and fight the battles for me. When I learned to give up and stop trying to do it on my own and submit to him, that's when my life started to get where it should be.
That's an amazing message, man, and great piece of advice. Casey, I wish you had more time, my man. But if they wanted to explore, more about your work in your past life, more about the business work, where can they find you?
You can find me. I'm old, right? So find me on Facebook. I would love to connect with you there. You can see what's going on in my daily life that way. If you want to just learn more about the business side, come to Exact Match, man. Would love to work with you that way. And you use your code. You can use Jordan as your as the code as it comes in. We'll let you run that as well. But no, please connect with me. Facebook. I'm on Instagram with Uncommon Reach. I think is what that's under. So I don't live a big life online, but I try to share good nuggets here as we go through life. So
Amazing. Casey, thank you so much for joining us again, my man. Best of luck out there in the world. Safe travels to Italy, and I hope it crushes for you, my man.
appreciate it. Thanks, Jordan.
Audience, bye.